time, though. I was born in the Washita River bottom in 1875. I was the oldest of 8 children, born to my mom and Pa Crockett and Alice Dunn Roark. I lived with my parents and worked on the family farm. I never was fortunate enough to marry, but I was engaged once to a wonderful woman. Her mother didn't think too much of me, though. It made her break off the engagement. So, she never married either. She passed away the summer before I did. My brother John had a big farm down at Little Bay, but he made moonshine on the side. Please don't tell anybody. His daughter Omalie married Burl Anthony Sr. You may recognize that name. And you may remember my sister, Mercy Prim. She married Pat Prim. They had 2 kids, Helen and Faye. Faye's son, Alan D., and Helen's grandson, Robin Goodwin, still live here. Helen married Lucian Goodwin, who became a state representative for Calhoun County. I guess it's time to tell about the most famous one in our family, and that was my baby brother, Norman Smeed Roark. Nobody knew him by that name. Everybody knew him by Mann Roark. Now, in 1917, he joined the U.S. Army, fought in World War I. He was stationed over in France when a U.S. military officer made him mad and he slit his throat. Of course, he was court-martialed and put into prison. In 1918, he escaped. He hid out in the hull of a ship and made it all the way back to the United States. Of course, once he got to the United States, he thought the safest place for him was in the Washita River bottoms. So he hid out in the Washita River bottoms, in the woods. He had family members all over that part of the county, and they would put out food for him at night. Put it on the back porch. One family even put a bed back there. They would never know that he had came during the night until they'd get up the next morning. Either the bed had been slept in or the food had been eaten. So you can imagine how it was living in the woods. He came to know those woods pretty well. He knew what belonged there and what didn't. And one day he happened up on a car down in there. He realized it didn't belong. And he hid out, waited for the people in that car to return. And it just so happened it was 2 FBI agents. He disarmed these FBI agents, locked them in the trunk of their own car, and left. He didn't return to the next evening. At that time, he made those 2 FBI agents promise never to return to the river bottom. Of course, I think they were in agreement pretty easy. So they agreed, and he released them and let them go. There was another time he was in jail right over here on the corner. When the deputy brought his dinner in that night, he overpowered the deputy, knocked him in the head with his own gun, ran out of the jail. Pop Burson was driving by and he jumped on the running boards of his car, rode down the Camden Hill. Clarence Johnson picked him up at the bottom of the Camden Hill, carried him to Camden, and helped him to escape. Man's luck kind of ran out, though, in 1926. He was picked up in Amarillo, Texas. He was sent to Leavenworth Prison to serve a life sentence. During his time there, he was sent to Springfield, Missouri, to the criminally insane. Him and 3 others pried the bars off of a 2nd-story window, used a volleyball net to shimmy down to the ground and escape. They stayed on the run for 4 days. They were finally captured and he was sent back to Leavenworth. He stayed there until 1954, and he was paroled. When he was paroled, he came back to Calhoun County. His freedom was pretty short-lived. In 1956, Mann died of a heart attack at a bus station in Little Rock. He was trying to cut the throat of a taxi cab driver that made him mad. I guess that's enough about my family. I died November the 16th, 1918. There was a terrible flu epidemic that came through. It also killed my cousin Golden and her husband Robert Black. When they laid me to rest here, they had a triple burial for all three of us. They're buried in the far corner. I also have 3 cousins, 3 aunts, an uncle, and my brother Charles buried here. I guess I've took enough of y'all's time. Go over and listen to Captain Riggs and Sarah's unusual love story.